Hi, everybody, and welcome to
The Tris Brina Show. It is February 18th, 2020, and we have some things to tell you. Why are you laughing?
Because Life is Fun.
Okay, good.
Go for it. Yes.
What we're going to talk about today, even though some of it is really funny, it isn't really funny till afterwards. You ever have those situations in your life when the thing is happening? It's like, this is ducked up. This should not be happening. This shouldn't happen, and it's happening. And we've really had so many of those times and opportunities.
In our lives or just lately?
No, this week. And in our lives. But this week, things that you and I very openly talk about the fact that when I'm not centered and aligned and in my being, I have just terrible anxieties, panic attacks, inability to sleep, just anxiety, digestion, worry. So when things happen that doesn't happen, that's against my rule. For those of us that have those tendencies, I think part of it is need to be in control. You don't feel safe when you're out of control, bordering on some obsessive compulsive eating disorder type
Could become
tendencies.
hypochondria for some folks.
Yeah.
Well,
Anyway, we're going to tell you how we had these opportunities that came up that were pretty tragic and definitely worthy of a panic attack, and how we've dealt with them.
And what has offset all of this is we are in Austin, Texas, and at the time of this recording, we're in what people will call a crisis. We have many people. We're very fortunate right now. We have power. We have gas running, and we have water. That could change any minute. We went for a couple of days without power. It's a rude awakening in a lot of ways when you don't know how to handle that or you haven't prepared for that.
And when we didn't have power, it was 5 degrees.
Outside.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of homes currently in Austin are around 30 to 40 degrees inside because Austin homes, see, we have snow outside right now and it's supposed to snow again. This never happens. We don't get snow here.
And if we do, it's 32 degrees, just barely freezing.
And maybe for a day, and then the snow's gone. We had like 6 or 8 inches of snow the other day, and then we had ice before that, and now we have ice snow. Nobody can drive on the streets. It's considered a natural disaster. Yeah. Swimming pools are frozen over. People are in dire straits. It's scary. It's not good. We're talking about funny because we're trying to find the flow and the joy and the playfulness in the midst of some really heart-wrenching stuff.
And we see the end of the tunnel because tomorrow it's supposed to be above freezing, so it...
Well, we're seeing and choosing to see it, but a lot of things that are going on in the city, it's going to take weeks, if not longer, for them to be reversed. There's big crisis stuff with the energy grids here in Austin. It's a mess. It's just a mess. Don't come here right now. You couldn't even get here if you wanted to.
Yes, so supposedly in the 30s, Texas chose to be off the grids that would connect the eastern states to the western states. And then in the 90s chose to something where energy would be more controlled by independent people or independent companies. So that has sort of, and who chose it was too expensive to winterize. So people are saying, I don't understand what's happening. They are literally not capable of providing the energy that's needed because this has never happened where it's been like the feels like, it's like 5 degrees feels like it's been negative. And for days and days and days without letting up. We have friends here in town who it's been 4 days and nights. They're in their 70s. They have not had water. They have not had heat. And they have 3 dogs. And you can't drive anywhere. So, it is really serious.
Yeah.
Very serious. But neighbors are opening up their homes. There are some things in place. So, it's okay, but it's not good.
So we're going to discuss the power of community. Mm-hmm. We want to talk about faith and mindset. And I also want to share a little bit about when your body is cold. What can you do with Qigong to create inner heat? Okay, so that's what today's going to be about. And I want to, before Sabrina jumps into some of the funnies, just say thank you so much for the community support that we're receiving. We've received emails. texts. You know who you are, sending and reaching out to us. We've received like prayer chains for us. We have received so much love from our tribe, our community, and you guys are amazing.
Yep.
And we feel very seen and cared for by you, and it makes a difference. It's lightened and brightened our mood, and I do believe the power of energy is, I mean, we're good here, so thank you.
Yep.
Seriously.
Yeah. You have to kind of let go, for somebody who likes to know what's going to happen and how things are going to unfold. Well, when we tell the
Radhika,
middle of the night breathing.
you know what you did. She started a whole cascade of love.
Yep.
Very beautiful. Bonnie, you know what you did.
So there was when the pool, we haven't been in this house very long. We're not extremely pool savvy.
No, we didn't even want to.
We know that something with the water in the pool goes up the house and is connected to solar units, and it makes these noises. And when the pool started freezing over, I just started thinking, like, how much is that going to cost? That's actually
Here, this is our pool.
that's
Currently.
what I was thinking. Like, how is it going? It's going to crack the concrete. The tiles are going to be ruined. It's only 2 years old. Do we even have insurance on it? It's like, I don't know. So many unknowns. And then I guess the second night without any heat, it's got to be midnight, and we hear boom.
These pipes up here on the ceiling
Yeah.
exploded.
And I immediately got into the neighborhood Facebook group, and I'm like, did anyone hear a loud boom? And so many of the neighbors were writing, yes, I think it's on this street, I think it's on that street. And we were trying to figure out what it was. And then Tristan says, I got to go see. And he brings back into the bedroom a piece of pipe that had exploded. It was cracked open with a glacier iceberg in it. And I'm like, oh, wow, that means the whole thing. So then my mind starts saying, well, what's that? How does that damage the entire house? What are we talking about? How are we going to get in line to get insurance? Is it considered optional? I bet it's not even on the insurance. Who would think to cover that? Oh, should we have moved? Maybe we, like, on and on and on and on and on. And I was going to do this with these funds. You can see my money trash. I was going to do this with these funds, but maybe I shouldn't, because I'm going to have to basically rebuild the whole house. And I could just feel, it felt so horrible to think about all the bad things that could happen, all the bad things that seemed like they were going to happen. And Tristan said the fewest words to me. He said, just put it in your box, right?
Yeah,
And
she's got a special box.
for those of you that remember, I had this incredible vision. It was in August of this summer, where I was shown to put my worries in a box. It was called the Box of Worries, and to set it on the doorstep of love, which was like setting it on the door of God's house and to walk away. And so I was like, oh, and so in that moment, I was just like, I'm putting all these what if.
It's
Oh,
the
no,
what if
oh
box.
no. Yeah, it's the what if, and it's the I don't know how, and what are we going to do? And I literally had to exhale the fear and the worries, like blowing out a birthday cake. And he's like, oh, because I was in bed I just went.
I heard her. It was a loud, strong breath.
And I did 3, and then I just said, and I'm telling you this because it helps so much, because even though you might have that anxiety tendency, you're also probably very intelligent. So I said, is there anything I can do at 1:30 a.m. as the pipes are breaking on the roof of the house and it's -1 degree and sleeting outside?
Not so much.
Is there anything I can do to heat the pool right now and to prevent it from cracking?
Not so much.
Is there anything I can do to keep our water turned on when they're going to turn off the neighborhood?
Not so much.
So there was no action that I could take except to feel into everything being okay. That's actually the only action I could take, was to jump forward and think about everything's going to be fine. Everything is fixable. What does Marie Forleo say? Everything is figure outable. the path will be shown. You will learn how to make an insurance claim. You will learn what is covered and what isn't, and the funds needed to fix it will come. You'll have a genius idea and you'll make a program. Who knows? But there was nothing I could do. So having those thoughts of what if were completely not productive. They were making me feel sick and I couldn't sleep. I put them in the box and I blew them away. And I've been really good since then. If there isn't anything that I can do, then I'm just going to focus on feeling good and forward thinking until there is an action I can take.
Yeah, worrying is not a good action step. It just depletes your life force energy and it shuts down the creative opportunities that the divine is wanting to give to you. Worry blocks your genius. It totally depletes all that is good that wants to come through you.
Because it's fear.
It is fear. I do have to show you a cute picture that I snapped earlier today. And it's just, there's no good reason for it other than it's damn cute.
Well, wait, let me just, I have a reason for it.
How did he get in there is the question.
So the dogs have been really cold. I mean, they usually like to get under the covers, but they're under the covers all night long. And they've wanted to sit on laps. And one dog in particular just loves my dad's lap and wants to be covered up. And it's just so cute.
Here's what he thought was a good idea. Let me get inside the blanket. He like backs up in somehow. Keith's watching Rita play a game on an iPad, and I was sitting there having a coffee, and I saw this, and I was just like, oh my gosh, Bentley, you are so cute. And I have to share that with everybody. So these are the visuals that I'm seeing as the family safe, the family protected. And so what happens to me as a warrior, if you will, as a protector, is I go into action mode. What can be done from a place of alignment to create safety? So, of course, I know that this one over here is doing so many things as well. She's on the phone. She's on the computer when we had power, right? She's figuring out stuff. I'm outside figuring out where the pipes blew up.
Oh, you want that video?
What can I do to protect the pool? So when I showed you those pool pictures, that's, I don't even know how many hours. My shoulders, like I'm going to be like friggin' Popeye with a big pole, smashing carefully though around the rim of the pool, because what happens is ice expands. So as that layer of ice formed on the top of the pool that was expanding, it would crack. And I don't know if that's the whole bowl or just the top, but you know, this could be thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. I don't know if insurance is going to cover this stuff. So I think, what can I do to help protect the family financially? I will take my power and my chi and I will break this thing. And I don't know how many times I've been out there, but it's been cold and whatever. You just suck it up and you do the thing, right? I've built a tent over the pool pump just to keep the pipes from exploding. We came up with this very cool... Oh, yeah. I came up with this very cool, Rita showed me this picture of how to do this thing. And this might be cool for some of you guys. If you don't ever have a heater and you want to create one,
well,
you
actually,
do this.
I think Aunt Betty sent that.
So you take, we don't have terracotta pots, but we had some pots.
Because I sold them in the garage
and she sold everything. We took a couple of candle flames, put them underneath on some bricks, and then put a flame-proof tarp over and put these around the pool pump to keep the pool water from expanding and blowing up the pool pump. But that's how you can make little heaters. So it's just been a function of figuring stuff out and staying in the open, creative mode. What can I do? Okay, I can find a way safely to drive the truck with Sabrina to the store to get supplies. I know how to do this.
And stand in line for an hour and 15 minutes.
I know how to drive safely in snow. I actually grew up in California and go to Big Bear all the time, and sometimes I wouldn't have chains for the wheels, and I'm not suggesting it, but I know how to do it, so we were able to do it. Anyway, you just go into this mode of what can I do? We got this idea, hey, let's reach out to the neighbor. Can we give you this really long extension cord? Now, why did I have so many long extension cords?
Well, tell how we got there.
Because I had the extension cords when we were moving and we were coming into this house. I had the forethought, what are the things that I could make sure we have to protect? So I'm talking about protector energy right now. What can you forward think to be safe and prepared and ready. For the future, I can tell you this, if you ever come to my home in the future, there will be dual, what are they called?
Generator?
It's called dual power source generators. So they can handle propane and gas. My pool pump will be on a generator. There will be even more water but not from fear.
I'll
This
get you
is
that
my
for
thing.
Christmas.
Thank you. That'll be my Christmas present. But I want all of us to forward think, what can we do from the warrior energy, the place of protector? What can I do in advance so that I'm ready? And a big part of that is taking care of your body. Because if I didn't have the strength and the power and the ability to crush the ice and to get the stuff off the roof and to dry, to do whatever it takes. So to the neighbors, we thought, Sabrina said, hey, call such and such behind us. His name is Param. And what did you want us to do first?
I said, see if he could bring us a pot of coffee to the fence.
Can he bring a pot of coffee over at the fence?
I was joking.
Because he still had power. He was on the other grid.
And then I said, well, wait a minute. If he could do that, would he mind if we passed we could put all our laptops and phones in a bag, pass it over, he could charge them, and then we'd go and get them.
And then Tristan said, what if I could put the laptop outside by the fence and he could just run an extension cord? And then I'm like, duh, why would we stick a laptop outside in the snow when I have long extension cords that I could run in the house? And so I'm like, hey, Param, what do you think about, me hooking into your power source? He's like, no problem, go for it. So we were able to charge up all of our devices and everything inside the door of our house.
And have a lamp at night.
So you just start getting creative and you start thinking about what you could do. But that's the power of community. Then the next neighbor reached out and said, because we are in a driveway like this and I didn't know if it would be a good idea to take the truck out. Can we go? We're going. Would you need any food? And we're like, yeah, we actually do need some stuff. Our refrigerator power is out and stuff's starting to go bad.
Everything went bad.
So they brought food. So I just love thinking about if we all, as a community, always think about how can I serve? How can I help prepare for yourself first, then your family, and then your community, and then your city and your world. Think about expanding that which you can do for others.
And here's what's really awesome. So we haven't lived in this neighborhood very long. We've only talked to that neighbor from across the fence a few times. There's nothing, there's not a friendship bonded where they should have felt obligated to do that. It was just pure generosity. And the same thing with the other neighbor that said, we're going to try to go to Target. And actually Target hardly had any food, but everybody did their best. It's been beautiful. We're in a Facebook group with this neighborhood, and the grid is such that half of the people are completely without power and water, and half of the people had it. And just putting in the Facebook group, I have an extra bedroom. I have 3 extra bedrooms. I have this, I have that. And people going to each other's homes. Or one woman, she had a cat that needed oxygen. So she needed some, I don't know whatever it was. And somebody else had it. It's been amazing. Like, it really reminds you of the kindness of humans rather than what we see on the news all the time.
And sometimes it takes things like this contrast to elicit and draw forth that kindness, that goodness, that power. Because we dig deeper sometimes when we're provoked, right? I have been provoked to step up more. And I love that. And so the message that I wanted to bring today is use everything as an opportunity to expand and to grow. And that includes humor. Well, use some humor. Like when this picture of this thing blew off the roof, for me it was like, at first it was like, oh crap.
That was filled with the glacier when he brought it in.
That might be expensive, right? But if I stay in that energy of, oh crap, then I'm in this limited place, right? I'm thinking bad things are going to happen for me.
I'm not slouching as
no,
much,
your
am I?
posture's fantastic. That was last week's Trish Brina show. If you go into that limited place, and we have to, as a city and as a culture, I think, remember these things. Like, expansion can't happen for us. We have to know that everything works out for you.
Yes.
All that is good is on the way, right? That you will be expanded to grow into new levels of healing, new levels of financial freedom, new levels of connection and relationship, compassion, love, spiritual awakening. Like everything is designed for our conscious awakening. Yeah. It's designed for that. We're not in soul school to be tortured. Yeah. This is soul school. We're not here in a prison. Mm-hmm. We're not here to be punished. We're here to grow. How do you use everything yep. to grow? Yep. That's the MO. That's yep. like the constant reminder for me.
My compassion has really swelled in this particular area. Like from the outside, I could seem, oh, you didn't get your trash picked up for a week.
Oh, we'll have a trashy start flowing. You know, there's other problems. Like we're sitting here in our cozy situation, broadcasting live. We are so blessed. Like there's nothing to complain about.
Yeah.
And if the power goes out and it's friggin' crazy,
we had battery candles. We dealt with it.
We got blankets. Yeah. We it's all going to be okay.
But my compassion, what I was going to say is and you mentioned this in a video that you did. Never having experienced like freezing cold and not being able to get warm and like the pool freezing, Tristan had to whack the ice and break it because if it stayed in one piece and swelled, which we don't know if it did or not, that would be a big problem. So now when I hear about people without power, even for 48 hours, I'm like, I know what that feels like.
We didn't know before.
I know how scary it is because at the time you don't know it's 48 hours. You don't know. You just know you can't do anything and you can't talk to anybody and you don't know what's going on. So yeah, I have a completely different view of so many things because of this little incident. Where is that video of the pool whacker?
The pool whacker.
I don't have it. I must have filmed it on your phone or the one downstairs.
I don't know. I don't have a pool whacker video. Oh. But I do have a technique. And it doesn't have to be a physical moving technique. I can just share it with you for a minute and maybe.
The corn first, maybe.
I don't know where the corn is.
It's in there.
Okay, Sabrina wants you guys to see the corn. Let's see if it's possible. Where is it?
Well,
didn't I film it?
You'd be filming.
And my videos aren't working on here. Oh. But I can show the corn from here. Okay. So Sabrina would like for me to share with you the corn video. I don't know how well this will play or sound.
Can you let us know in the chat if
the birds are hungry and
hear the sound?
Sabrina, but we're going to play this for you. So give us 1 second. This for good. It's good for a laugh. Okay? And then we're going to talk about this heating up technique.
Yeah, and what happened this morning when he taught it to the students, how hot their bodies got so quickly, even people in Texas without power.
That's right. Okay, that's a nice shot. Okay, here we go. We'll turn up the volume. You let us know if you can hear it.
I don't look very good.
What did you do?
Well, the birds are hungry, and during my class, they were coming to this tree. As I look out this window here,
I don't think I can.
Teaching.
There's actually a way to flip the camera. Hold on. This is what happened.
So, I was looking out this window at this tree, and it was covered in these beautiful birds that had bright yellow bellies, and bluebirds, like bluebirds.
Right out here in the snow?
Bluebirds, yes.
I don't know if you guys can see, it's snowing again.
They look so hungry, so I Googled, and it said that I could give them frozen corn or peas.
Excuse me, Mrs. Declare your statement. Make your case for what just happened. Why did this happen? Because you love the birds, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my wife came out here. Let's call her my wife. We'd be very careful because the steps are now.
And I stood in the poo-poo patch.
Oh, this is the poo-pee patch that we created for the doggies. Because they need a spot, right? Okay, so what did you do next?
I bent down to set the plate.
You put a plate down here?
No, further down.
So you went in the poo-poo patch?
Yeah, to the edge of it.
And you put it right here for the birds? And where is it? Where is it? Where the hell is it? Oh! My plate and corn went down the street. And she said, honey, can you go get something for me? There's the culprit corn. Oh, look. Here you go. This is called a honeydew. And then you bring it back to the crazy lady. It's got peanut butter and corn for the bird, so your heart is in the right place. It's just your corn's not in the right place. Where do you want it? Guide me. What do you mean down? Down here? Put the corn here for the birds. And you think they're going to think those are birds and they're their friends? Okay. So that's what happened at my house today. Anyway, just heads up. It's snowing again.
A plate.
Can prove it.
How nice.
Look. What's the degree? How are we all doing?
My
We have
plate
power
is
still.
going down the street.
I want to do a big shout out to our neighbors behind us. Have been so awesome. They went shopping for us
They're
the
so
other day
nice.
when we couldn't get out because our driveway is so steep. You guys have been amazing. So there's the corn. The corniest thing that's happened in a while.
Well,
Anyway,
somebody's saying,
anything you
I've
want to say
never
to the
seen
people
any of
while you're
this
standing
before.
there in
You
your
guys are so funny.
very nice wardrobe?
I have clothes. It's just a house coat.
Okay. Yeah, the kindness and that's what happened at our house. And so we're trying to find the humor in all things because that's what keeps your spirits light. And
But
she did find a bird later. Oh yeah, and she attracted that little blue bird right there.
when I went outside,
One bird.
No, there were
I'm kidding,
four.
I'm
There were
kidding.
four. But when you try to take a picture of a bird, but that one had eaten so much he couldn't fly. I guess.
Barbara, they did come. Some I saw them going for it.
And then one of my Aunt Linda said maybe they're not used to eating off a plate. Maybe.
I'm not used to eating off a plate.
And so I went to the other side of the yard and made more corn and peanut butter and just tossed it on top of the snow. So
Armand, welcome. Nice to have you here. He says, first time watching one of your lives. You two are a lot of fun. We try to keep it fun and keep it real. Okay. Power. Inner power. Heat. When you're cold. Hold up.
lights went out.
Don't worry. We still have the power. So your body can generate heat. Now we know this on a metabolic level. When we exercise, when we move quickly and forcefully, we can generate heat because the cells are firing, the mitochondria is burning, and you get hot. So movement alone is a really good idea to warm yourself up. But the practice, the ancient practice of Qigong, you can use your internal focus and movement and breath to generate warmth from the inside out. So I won't go into a whole training today. Maybe we can do a bonus training in the future. But one of the things that you can do is work with your breathing like dragon breath. But you're pumping it through the core. Definitely clean your nose out. Have a tissue ready to go. Thank you. Start with some breath. Oh man, I really gonna get. Thank you. Do some of these where you're pulling
Why
in
don't you
quickly. Demonstrate. So you're standing up. Oh my goodness, I'm demonstrating. So you're firing up your legs a little. This will be blurry for a second. So you're dropping, but you're pulling in quickly, releasing the breath. That's one thing you can do that's a little bit physical with the physical breathing. But the part that I want to talk about is what you can do internally, which is to visualize your spine, your whole internal core, that which the energy flows up through. It's called the Chungmei. The yogis call it the Sushumna. Is you visualize this internal column like a heating pole. So if you've ever seen those heaters when you go out to restaurants and they have a base and then the fire goes up through inside, if you've ever seen that, you can visualize that.
Propane?
They're heated by propane. Your power is your breath and the chi, which is directed through mind force. And you see it coming from your power center here, your core. So you're breathing in, and you can actually, we might as well do a little training since we're getting into it. You're stimulating the power center.
Can't.
I'm going to come up on my tippy toes here so you can see my hands here. Okay, so you're breathing in your belly. Your hands are floating in and out. This is
Like
not
accordion.
You know what? We have the technology to do better. Here we go.
We're going to switch cameras.
Here we go. We have the technology. So you're here, breathing in. You're stoking the fire at the base. Okay, so imagine that's the propane tank, and then the energy's coming up the column. And so what you do is you close your eyes and you go inside and you visualize. Do you see this color back here? Sort of like a golden, right? Like a golden fire. Visualize a whole column of golden fire inside of yourself. And as you're stoking the fire here, just slowly lift it up. And visualize it emanating out. You can emanate it as you come up. You do that slower and visualize. And then stand with your arms open and feel the heat spreading from the center of your core out through your whole body. Keep breathing in your belly pump. And visualize that heat radiating out. Okay? So that's just a little bit of how you can do that.
Well, it's great, even though you're visualizing the heat going out, it isn't leaving you in the sense that you are then left without.
You are the source.
You are, yeah. You are
the source. There are Qigong masters that go and sit in cold, freezing ice.
Where are we?
We're here.
Okay.
And they sit in freezing ice, and then they can put a wet towel on their back. It's called tumo. And then they can use this different types of techniques of breath and visualization of heat from the inside out, and they can dry that towel. So what's fascinating and phenomenal about that to me is that your body has so much power inside of it that's untapped. And the way you tap it is with your awareness, with your belief system, with working with your life force. So I just want to encourage you to play with stuff like this. If you can start to feel the energy between your hands, I know many of you have because you've been in our trainings or you figured out this energy stuff, go further with it and fill your core up with this beautiful heat. Madeline was in class this morning. She said sweat was dripping down the back of her neck.
And she's in Houston who didn't have power and just got it back. So I doubt it was very warm there.
Donna Wim Hof, absolutely. Study that guy as well. I mean, he's the Iceman. So I am not the Iceman and I'm not teaching that stuff. But I tell you what, we got super hot today. And so this internal column, everybody has capacity. Everybody has a lot of power inside them. And so, look, man, if it gets gnarly and you're in the cold, at least work your chi now so you know what to do to generate that internal heat.
Yeah. I guess that's something that's really been apparent to us is when you're in a crisis or a natural disaster, that's not the time that you're...
Yeah, don't wait
until you're like, oh... Am I strong enough? Do I feel good enough? How's my energy? How's my health?
Do it now.
And so, I mean, you should have seen Tristan. So I called him the ice whacker in some videos that are on our personal pages because he had a big metal stick and trying to save the pool, the damage to the pool because the pump froze. He would whack the ice to try to break it up. And then one of our friends said, put stuff in there that floats to take up some space. So we have a rabbit in there. I mean, not a real rabbit, like a rabbit statue. My yoga mats are floating in the... I'm like, I was going to go to the floor today to teach, but my yoga mats are in the pool.
Lots of things that they create more flex in the ice. So... Anyway.
So these things are floating in the pool. And he's out there for like 30 minutes breaking the ice numerous times a day in the dark. And he would come inside and he would say he was cold, but I just can't, like, how were you out there doing that? And you would almost be sweating.
I was only cold in my gloves. My hands were cold from holding a metal pole. But actually my body was really warm.
Yeah.
It was just my hands were frozen. Anyway, so the power of community, the power of faith, and the power of internal heat.
Yeah, life force, that's right.
Those are the lessons of the day.
It's a superpower.
It is.
A strong life force is definitely a superpower. And it's a superpower that gives you choices. That's what I feel like when we said earlier in the show. It's my life, my connection to life force, my connection to love that allows me to rise above the freaking out and kind of rise above the panic and be okay with not knowing. Like, why do we get so obsessed with watching the news and watching the weather? It's like, well, if I know it's going to happen, it'll be okay. Nope, it's going to be this kind of the same whether you know it or not.
Yep.
And just to relax with that. And one more thing that I felt kind of come up with in me was this question, and actually it feels even weird to expose it, but am I going to be selfish or generous where nobody knows? What does that mean? That means I'd really like to wash these towels. But I have water right now and so many people don't. And there's a limited supply of water. No one would know if I just do this load. Am I going to, unplug things or not? And, the news is coming on telling us to do these things to conserve. And I didn't do the towels. And as silly as it is, I felt so good because it's like no one will know. It doesn't really matter. But if we're really all in this together, the love that I felt, like just let it pile up and deal with it later, which goes against my gotta be in control. Feels really good.
That's beautiful, honey.
Feels really good.
You're an awesome human.
Thank you.
Thank you, all you awesome humans, for being with us, sharing in the chat.
And your comments, just like on that video with the plate of snow,
The plate of corn.
the plate of corn. Well, first of all, I just wish I had had a camera because when I set it down, I wasn't expecting that to happen. It starts spinning like a flying saucer and just...
I can't believe the corn didn't fall off.
I know. It was insane. Just one of those moments I'm just like, oh no. And now...
Oh no.
And now I'm going to have to go tell Tristan what I did. And I swear, the first thing he said, I said, Tristan, I did something. And I said, I
already know I live with Lucille Ball.
I'm
like, Lucy, what did you do?
He said, great. Now I'm going to have to film another video.
It's exactly what I said. Let me get my camera. What have you done? What have you done now?
Someone said we should have a reality show. So if there's any producers out there, just call me.
We already do. This is our reality show.
I'm open.
All right.
But I'm open to being paid more.
for your silliness.
So we can fix the pool.
Oh. See? Creative genius ideas coming through. Au revoir. Adios.
À tout à l'heure. I'll see you in a little while.
Hasta la bye-bye. I love you.
Thank you so much for the love. We really, really feel it.
Yeah. You guys are awesome.
And for hanging with us on a Thursday.
Do 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 do. Bye, y'all.